welcome, Susan. It's always
Hi.
lovely to be able to reconnect with you. And just in case this is the first video that our viewers are catching, um, I'll just recap. I'm Korenna. I'm one of the co-owners and core faculty at the Circling Institute. This is Susan. She is one of the participants in this year's cohort of our flagship year-long program, The Art of Circling. And today we are here to talk about the midwife stage. Mostly the midwife stage of the 7 stages of the circling approach. We may, talk a little bit about deep sea diver, a little bit about integrator, whatever moves you. But the most recent uh, training weekend that we did was around midwife. Um, and so, yeah, I would love it, Susan, if you could give our community just a little rundown of the 7 stages or 6.5 stages that we're up at this point. Um, and then whatever you feel, inspired to share about your experiences with midwife. Sound good?
Yeah. Yeah, sounds good.
Great.
All right. So let's see. I guess I'll start with Explorer. Um, Explorer is about getting somebody's world, getting context, hearing about their emotions, really trying to understand the person you're circling, and kind of being in that car with them as they're driving. It's almost like a driving school car where like you have a brake too and you have a steering wheel too, or possibly, I don't know, I never did that class, but but yeah, kind of like that where like you're both in the car together
Yeah, the idea of
and
it's a shared journey
yeah, it's a
and
shared
it's
journey.
their journey,
Hmm.
but you're right there alongside with them and you can, intervene and
Yeah,
participate. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
get it. I get the analogy.
Um, and uh and and then there's Sovereign.
Mhm.
And Sovereign is about being with your own emotions and your own experiences while simultaneously being with the other person's emotions and experiences. And and I'm finding that it involves taking risks.
Mm,
And
mm,
I guess I'll say more about that later.
mhm,
Um, And then we've got Warrior and Deep Sea Diver, and I'll lump those together
mhm.
because for
They kind of work
me,
together. They are partners.
yeah, for me they're partners because Warrior is feeling what hasn't been felt, and Deep Sea Diver is seeing what hasn't been seen.
Other way around.
Other way around.
Warrior is
Okay,
seeing, deep sea diver is feeling. Yeah, feeling the
okay,
depth,
yeah,
seeing what's missed, feeling the depth. Yeah, but yes.
yeah, yeah. So they really do go together because what happens for me anyway when somebody is circling me with those two stages is there'll be like an image that comes across in my mental movie
Hmm.
that helps me to see something. And often there's a feeling, a somatic feeling, or an emotional feeling, or both that the circler has evoked with their questions. So those two things go together. And one of my cohort mates was telling me about how she was studying for AOC and and how she was having trouble understanding those two stages.
Hmm.
And what she simplified it down to, or maybe she saw somebody said say this somewhere in a video,
Hmm.
but it's been really helpful, and I've been telling it to other people in the cohort, is that you know you're in warrior or deep sea diver when the conversation stops seeming like one you have with anybody.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, when things start to feel like a little richer, a
Hmm.
little deeper,
A little
yeah,
edgier,
a little edgier.
a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
more
like something
raw.
special is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that distinction.
Yeah, that was really helpful because sometimes when you're circling, you're like, oh, did I? did I get there? Was
Mhm.
that actually that stage? But then if you like feel into the circle and
Mhm.
you're like, yeah, that didn't feel like a regular conversation. It didn't feel like, something you would talk to somebody in the grocery store about, or
Yeah,
or
yeah,
maybe even your friend or family member.
yeah,
You might not even
yeah.
have that
Like
kind
a
of conversation.
casual lunch conversation
Yeah.
versus a more meaningful inquiry. I like
Hmm.
this distinction too for like during a circle of like if things start to feel deeper, special, more
Hmm.
vulnerable, then you can like train your nervous system to be like, oh, we might be in this warrior into
Hmm.
deep sea diver space, and
Hmm.
I should slow down
Hmm.
and like be more intentional. Yeah.
Hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the last weekend we did was midwife slash integrator. And midwife is all about birthing something new. Um, my mom was a midwife, and she often talked about um, birth taking time and being patient with it, and the baby will come when it's ready, and you can't force it. And um, walking her clients around when they were in labor and just having their bodies do
Mm,
the work, and the midwife is really just a guide, a support, a helper. And that's really what this midwife weekend was about. It was about helping the Circle E to birth something new, but not in a forcing kind of way, more in a supportive, let's take a look at this. What do you think? What's occurring to you now kind of way.
mhm,
Um, yeah, so it's this unfolding process. And it seems to me like almost the whole circle is the process of midwifing,
mhm.
because you can't get to those midwife moments unless you've done the sovereign and the explorer and the midwife and the deep sea diver and I mean, I guess you can. Any circle can have
Have a
anything happen.
spontaneous insight.
Yeah.
But
There.
the other stages and the other tools are kind of
Yeah.
creating the conditions for this to occur.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
Right.
like
Yeah.
how it's fun that you have that frame of reference of your mother being an actual midwife as opposed to the metaphorical midwife. So I
Hmm.
like how obvious it was to you to bring in the trust and
Hmm.
the patience and
Yeah.
the allowing,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. We really do force a lot of babies into this world these days.
Yeah, especially in
Scheduled
Western medicine.
scheduled births, and yeah, scheduled births and planned C-sections, and yeah, just a lot of that. And there's been a
Eh,
move away from the allowing, the naturalness, the when the time is right kind of
yeah, yeah.
feeling. So that's
You know,
kind of what this stage is about, is like really allowing and letting things unfold.
and another parallel there is that sometimes like scheduled births or emergency C are influenced by fear,
Hmm.
which also can happen, if someone is leading a circle and they're like, oh, well, I'm afraid we're not going to get to a midwife
Hmm.
moment in the
Yeah.
time we have allowed. So I try to force one rather than be like, yep. And if it doesn't come
Hmm.
today, maybe it'll come in a future circle,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
Again, or the expectation of like sometimes it's like, oh, well, that we expect that it should happen in every encounter as opposed to it may not.
Hmm.
Today might be the day, today might not be. This person might be ready for this new insight, and it might be, a little too far out of their reach right now. It may take a few circling sessions for
Hmm.
perspectives to shift or, you know, new possibilities to emerge.
Hmm.
Yeah.
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 Beautiful.
And then there's a little bit of integrator this weekend. And that's just about, I think, having the person take this new insight or whatever was birthed, and now how do they take that into their life? How do
Mhm.
they make it theirs? How do they embody it? How do they um, manifest something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It
And
is really hard to define integrator without using the word integrate.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
that's what it
yeah,
is. It's like you
yeah,
take this,
yeah.
like, and it's funny because even if we don't get to the specific midwife moment, we could still integrate
Right.
the things we saw in
Hmm.
Warrior that previously went unseen. We
Hmm.
can integrate the experiences we had in Deep Sea Diver that previously went unfelt. And
Hmm.
so I think integration doesn't get enough attention. Every
Hmm.
year I think about it and I was like, maybe we should teach integration in steps throughout the process, even though it's technically the seventh stage. Maybe we should start visiting it
Mm.
from stage three. Maybe we should start
Mm.
it, with
Mm.
Explorer or even Warrior.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that happens to a lot of us. I think Socrates, was the one who said like an unexamined life is not worth living. And I think especially in busy Western world, we kind of like rush through our lives and we don't stop to journal about it or contemplate, the impact of it or
Hmm.
revisit it. And then it doesn't really ground and integrate into our personality, our value system, our future
Right.
choices.
Hmm.
Um, and so we touched on integration a little bit on this past weekend, and we'll do more of it in the final training module as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that lovely recap.
Yeah.
It really shows that you've been, really digesting the material and implementing it and really
Oh,
making it
yeah.
your own. Yeah.
Yeah. This year has been so rich,
Mm,
so rich with experiences, new things, integration of old things. Um, it's been amazing. Yeah.
mm,
Really amazing for personal growth anyway. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Are
Yeah.
there any specific anecdotes or insights from this past weekend or the time you've had, out after class in order to integrate and watch it happen in your life that you want to share today?
Yeah. And actually it's I guess I would say this is my share is mostly about Sovereign,
Mm,
but
okay.
I think Sovereign ties into all of the stages
Hmm.
really deeply.
Yeah,
Um,
we like to say that sovereign is like the field from which all the other stages emerge. So it's kind of like the backdrop or the foundation
the
for
soil.
everything else, as you so eloquently put it, at the beginning of this chat. Like sovereign is like the idea of how deeply can I connect to and understand me so that I can more deeply connect to and understand you.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's kind of the backbone or cornerstone of all
Yeah.
human interactions.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
soil maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm finding is that as this year progresses, um, that my sovereignty is increasing.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
like a few years ago, I was struggling with finding my voice and having the courage to find my voice. And this year has put me into situations over and over and over and over where I have to be sovereign. I have to be honest. I have to say what's occurring for me. Because if I don't, then I'm not being with what is in the circle. And that's really imperative for circling. And so it's forced me to take risks,
mhm,
to say something that I'm nervous about saying,
mhm.
to bring something about my own feelings or my own life out to people
Needs or
who don't really
desires.
know me, and to speak them aloud.
Yeah.
And it's not only the courage to say the things that I'm nervous to say, it's also the courage to just say it.
Mm-hmm.
right? Like there's like the content part where you're like, oh, I don't know if I should say this particular thing. But then there's even just the courage to say the thing
Mm-hmm.
and to open my mouth and to take that risk to be possibly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because often when you're circling and you share something in a sovereign way, the circlee might say something like, well, it's not actually quite like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, for me, it's more like this.
Mm-hmm.
Or, that's close, but not exact.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the circlee is okay with whatever I've shared being
Mm-hmm.
wrong,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it just gets the circlee to think more and
Yeah.
feel more about their own experience because now they have something to compare it to.
Can I pause this here? Because
Yeah.
it's funny. You made a couple distinctions that I know that you get and the indoctrinated will get really deeply and clearly that I want to like illuminate. One is you kept saying when you share in a sovereign way. And so just for the the listeners, what we mean by in a sovereign way is like with an eye on being relational. And I think that's for me and what I know about you and being with you, like I think that's also something beautiful that has continued to develop and probably has made this easier. Like through this course, I have watched you become more comfortable in sharing your truth, sharing your thoughts, sharing your needs and desires in a way that you're no longer afraid of. It's like you trust yourself to share them in a way that are easily heard, that like aren't going to come off confrontational or judgmental. And so I think that leads to that why it's easier and
Hmm.
like why you trust yourself to do it because you've learned instead of coming from like a defensive or frightened way
Yeah.
or like an aggressive way of like, hey, like that's not okay with me. Like you, when you say I've learned to share them in a sovereign way, it's like this
Hmm.
like relational, self-responsible way. And I think that
Yeah.
distinction leads to this other beautiful one that you just made about how the other person can take it in. And even if it's not, right, or it's not an exact, or it's not a good fit, they don't become defensive or offended. They're like, huh, it's not
Yeah.
really like that. It's more like this. But it, again, it feels relational. It feels like you
Hmm.
guys are trying to figure something out together
Right.
as opposed to you projecting onto someone and then defending,
Right.
and like,
Hmm.
so I just wanted to double click on that because it probably is the unspoken magic that leads to this shift that
Hmm.
you so eloquently described and that you were like great thankfully experiencing of like, oh, when I learn to speak from this like relational self-responsible place, the things that I used to hold back, the things that I used to be afraid to share or worry were gonna cause disconnection or an argument or
Hmm.
upset are actually beneficial now.
Yeah.
Is that close to
Yeah. Yeah.
how we're framing it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly right.
yeah.
Yeah. hmm Yeah.
And what a gift. What a
Such a gift.
shift.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Such a
almost like
gift.
when I try it on, I imagine you feeling like freedom
Yeah.
or like spaciousness or like
Hmm.
more aliveness or a more like a possible midwife. Here we go. Imagine feeling more
Yeah.
possibility to be you or to bring
Hmm.
more of you
Hmm.
into the world, into your relationships.
Yeah.
Is that?
Absolutely. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'm noticing that's happening with Sovereign, and this is, I think, where it ties into midwife, is that when I'm being Sovereign and we've kind of gotten into the circle a bit, you know,
Mhm.
and there's a level of trust now with the circlee and myself and the other participants. Sometimes these images or flashes of insight or intuition or some sort of analogy, image will come to mind. And I'm starting to trust that more also in myself and to share that more with the Circle E. So, for example, recently a Circle E was talking about a difficult situation and this image of being in the ocean and just like having your lips just barely above the waves and like trying to breathe and gasp for air came up for me. And I shared that with them. And they were like, yeah, actually, I always feel like I'm drowning, and only once in a while can I come up for air. So, like, this flash of insight or inspiration or intuition or something came up for me. And because I took a risk and shared it with
Yeah.
them, it helped them to be like, oh, yeah, actually, I do feel like I'm
Yeah.
drowning all the time.
So not only did you help them like drop deeper into their own experience and like get more details or more richness from their own experience, but then the two of you kind of created this shared metaphor
Right.
that could help the conversation and exploration go deeper. Like
Hmm.
there's yeah, I think for me at least, and I imagine for many people, like the idea of someone else grabbing a metaphor to explain what I've been struggling to say to them and having it land really clearly for me. Like I relax, I feel
Hmm.
so understood.
Yeah.
Um, and it makes me trust them more of like, oh,
Yeah.
you were listening to me trying to struggle to describe my experience, and then you wrapped it up in this metaphor and offered it back to me. And like yeah, now I feel like you're my ally and like you get it.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
get excited when people can offer me metaphors.
Hmm. Yeah, me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
Again,
Yeah.
and like the work that you have done in this program and just specifically in Sovereign has helped you sounds feel more confident and more comfortable that like when these images occur for you
Hmm.
that you feel comfortable going, "Hey, here's the image I get
Yeah.
when I listen to you." And you
Hmm.
don't feel like this person's going to think I'm crazy or oh, I can't dare say that, maybe they'll judge
Hmm.
me or think I'm
Hmm.
weird.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
love that for you. I love the confidence it applies,
Hmm. Yeah.
and the like self-assuredness.
Yeah. And then the thing about it is, if it's wrong, if the image is wrong that comes up in my
Yeah.
mental picture, it doesn't matter because they'll just be like, well, actually, it's more like I'm being sucked by a vacuum and not
Yeah.
like I'm drowning in an ocean or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Or that I'm falling and I can't,
Yeah.
find whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you offering how it's occurring for you, then they got to look at it and go try that on and go, no, it's not like this. It's
Hmm.
more like this.
Hmm.
And they get closer to their own experience anyways.
Right. Right.
Because you cared enough and were brave enough to take a risk and offer your metaphor or how it was occurring to you.
Right.
And even if you don't get it right, it was still in service to deeper understanding and shared,
Right.
like what we
Hmm.
call weaving shared reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weaving shared reality.
Yeah, beautiful distinction. I love it. I love it when the model, as we think of it theoretically, unfolds naturally for you guys experientially. It always feels
Hmm.
like redeeming to me, or like oh yeah, we're not nuts. Like this is real, and people are experiencing it in real
Yeah.
time on their own terms in their own way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it feels like that sovereign piece really ties into the midwife piece because often it's those moments of insight or the inspiration or um, an image that comes up that you share that pushes that birth along
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit more,
It
like
allows for the something new to emerge.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
unzips it just a little
yeah,
bit
yeah, yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's a
Yeah.
new perception or a new perspective, a new
Right.
possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's the sovereign sharing and the interweaving of like
Mhm.
you listening to their experiences, their thoughts, their desires, their ideas, and like allowing them to impact you,
Right.
metabolize in your own body, and then offering back like, oh, hearing that,
Mhm.
here's what's happening for me, as you said earlier, like somatically,
Mhm.
intellectually, emotionally, and then
Yeah.
that passing back and forth is what allows this
Mhm.
to emerge.
Yeah. Yeah, it is like a passing back and forth. Mhm.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, any other experiences or any like specific examples of this that feel like particularly poignant to you, or anything that you want to share with our community of how your
Let me
experiences in
see.
this realm, whether it happened in the course or maybe even in your real life? I know in some past ones you've had experiences with your sister or a friend,
Mhm.
and sometimes we get blessed enough to have you and your husband together sharing what how these things unfold in your marriage. But yeah, so I thought I'd check like
Yeah.
any in real life in the wild example
Yeah, it's
come to mind
just
for you.
yeah, the sovereign sharing and the courage and the self-trust that's developed has helped in my relationships with others, for sure in my marriage.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Um, because like I said, I used to be afraid to speak my mind or to say what I thought,
Hmm.
for fear of disappointing somebody or creating conflict or some other, phantom. And because I've been in AOC for most of the year now and had to take these risks over and over again, um, it's making it easier to take those risks everywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you said that because it points out one of my favorite things about this, the year-long program, which, depending on how people take it, sometimes it's a 9-month program, sometimes it's a 12-month program, depending how far you space out, the 8 modules, or the first two of the 8 modules. Like, because you have this like safe, committed container with your cohort mates with a shared intention of practicing these tools and skills,
Hmm.
you've got like a playground to, scrimmage on.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it makes it so much easier to take them out into outside relationships with
Hmm.
people who aren't necessarily, as low risk, because
Yeah.
they're not also in the program, also studying these skills
Yeah.
and tools. They
Right.
they haven't don't have the explicit
Yeah.
context of like, now
Yeah.
I'm going to practice this with you,
Hmm.
and so I love it. I love knowing that you are, taking the lived experience and the tools and skills that you're getting within the training program and being able to generalize them into outside relationships,
Yeah.
and reaping the benefit of that, because that's
Yeah.
that's our ultimate goal. As much as we love to train practitioners who are going to go out and engage in circles with people who might previously not been aware of this practice, we also really just want to help enrich your lives, and
Right.
and help all of our students live richer, fuller, more vibrant, more authentic existences.
Yeah. More relational, more connected existences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds
Yep.
like you've been noticing that shift. I mean, we
Hmm.
started this program, in November of 2025.
Hmm.
And so here we are 6, 8 months later. And you're saying like, yeah, I've noticed a change in me.
Yeah.
And I think I'm hearing like you've noticing a change in some of your relationships with other people outside of your cohort as well. Would that
Absolutely.
feel true? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hmm.
Wow. That is just like the dream come true. And like it's it makes all the time and effort and energy and the investment worth it for us as teachers, and I
Yeah.
hope for you as students as well.
Yeah. 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 I'm really grateful for this course.
Yeah. Well, we are so grateful to have you in it, and that you and Dan are willing to be vulnerable and open and transparent and so visible in sharing your experiences of the program and how the program and its tools and skills and experiences are impacting your world. So
Yeah, thank you.
thank you for that. Any last words? I'll give you the I'll give you the final say. Anything you want to share with
No,
people?
I guess just gratitude. Yeah, I'm feeling really grateful for the course and for all the work that you, John, and Guy do, and for how I believe it's making the world a better place.
Oh, that's so sweet to hear you say.
That's true.
Well, thank you for spending some time with us today, Susan, and I look
Thanks.
forward to the next time our paths cross.
Thanks. Me too.